Kamala Harris, the Untold Story. Kamala Devi Harris, born on October 20th, 1964, in Oakland, California, is the 49th Vice President of the United States, making history as the first woman, the first African American woman, and the first South Asian American to hold the office. While much is known about her political career and historic achievements, there are lesser known aspects of her life that have shaped her journey to becoming one of the most prominent political figures in America. Early life and multicultural background. Kamala Harris was born to immigrant parents. Her mother, Shyamala Gopalan, was an Indian American biomedical scientist, and her father, Donald Harris, is a Jamaican American professor of economics. This multicultural heritage deeply influenced Harris's upbringing. Raised primarily by her mother after her parents' divorce, Kamala was immersed in both Black and Indian cultures, though many people are unaware of the extent to which her Indian heritage shaped her early life. As a child, Kamala frequently visited India, spending time with her family in Chennai. Her grandfather, P.V. Gopalan, was a civil servant in India, and Kamala often speaks of his influence on her values and perspective. Despite this rich cultural background, Harris has often been perceived primarily through her African American identity, with her Indian roots sometimes overshadowed in public discourse. Early activism and influences. Harris's parents were both civil rights activists, which played a crucial role in shaping her worldview. As a child, she attended protests with her parents, and those early experiences of fighting for justice stayed with her throughout her career. She often credits her mother with instilling a strong sense of identity and purpose in her. What is lesser known is that Harris spent part of her early childhood in Berkeley, California, during a time of significant social and political unrest. She attended a daycare program associated with the progressive Berkeley free speech movement. Later, she and her sister, Maya Harris, were part of one of the first groups of students bused to desegregated schools in Berkeley, a fact that became a pivotal moment in her 2020 Democratic primary debate when she confronted Joe Biden on the issue of school busing. Academic and professional journey. Kamala Harris attended Howard University, one of the most prestigious historically Black universities, HBCUs, in the U.S. Her time at Howard is a significant part of her identity, as she has often described it as the place where she learned the importance of leadership and public service. After Howard, she earned her law degree from the University of California, Hastings College of the Law, where she began to hone her legal expertise. However, what many people don't know is that Harris initially struggled in her early career as a lawyer. She failed the California bar exam on her first attempt, an experience that she has rarely spoken about publicly. She passed on her second attempt, and this setback did not hinder her ascent in the legal world. Her perseverance and eventual success became an important part of her character. District Attorney and tough on crime record. Kamala Harris's tenure as the District Attorney of San Francisco, 2004-2011, and later as California's Attorney General, 2011 to 2017, was marked by controversy, particularly around her record on criminal justice. While she branded herself as a progressive prosecutor, critics point to her tough-on-crime policies that disproportionately impacted Black and minority communities. However, there are some aspects of her record that are less well-known or frequently misunderstood. Death penalty stance. Harris was personally opposed to the death penalty, but she faced significant pressure throughout her career to enforce it. In a high-profile case, she refused to seek the death penalty for a man who killed a San Francisco police officer, despite intense public and political backlash. Her decision was highly controversial, but showcased her willingness to stand by her principles. Prison reform efforts. Though criticized for her stance on some policies, Harris also implemented reforms, including creating programs to reduce recidivism and supporting initiatives like Back on Track, a program that provided job training and education for first-time nonviolent offenders instead of prison sentences. Many people are unaware that while Harris's record as a prosecutor has been scrutinized, she was also an early advocate for criminal justice reform. This complex balancing act between enforcing laws and pushing for systemic change has been a defining feature of her career. Personal life and family. Kamala Harris's personal life has largely remained out of the spotlight compared to her public career. One little known fact about her is the close-knit nature of her family. Harris has a tight bond with her younger sister, Maya Harris, who is a lawyer and political analyst and has been a key figure in Kamala's political campaigns. Kamala is also a stepmother, a role she takes seriously. She married Douglas Emhoff, an entertainment lawyer, in 2014 and became stepmother to his two children, Cole and Ella. They refer to her affectionately as Momala, highlighting the importance of family in her life. This blended family dynamic is rarely discussed in the media, but is a significant part of her personal identity. Her struggles and rise in politics. What many do not know is that Harris's rise in politics was not without setbacks and challenges. When she first ran for office in 2003 for San Francisco District Attorney, she was relatively unknown in the political scene and faced significant opposition from the incumbent, Terrence Hallinan, under whom she had previously worked. Against all odds, she won the election, marking her first major political victory. Another challenge came during the 2020 presidential race. Harris's campaign for the Democratic nomination began with high expectations, but it ultimately faltered due to organizational issues, lack of a clear message, and internal disputes. She dropped out before the first primary, but remained a prominent figure in the party, later being chosen by Joe Biden as his running mate, a decision that changed the course of her political career. Role as vice president and lesser-known achievements. Kamala Harris made history by becoming the first woman, first Black woman, and first Asian American woman to serve as Vice President of the United States. As Vice President, Harris has taken on significant roles, such as leading efforts to address the root causes of migration from Central America, pushing for voting rights legislation, and playing a key role in the Biden administration's COVID-19 response. However, her role is often more behind the scenes than many might realize. Harris has been instrumental in shaping the administration's approach to racial equity, police reform, and labor rights. She has also been tasked with leading complex diplomatic efforts, such as improving U.S. relations with Central American nations to tackle migration and other international issues. Overcoming personal and professional criticisms. Harris has faced criticism throughout her career, particularly regarding her prosecutorial record and her political positioning, which some see as shifting depending on the context. However, her ability to navigate these criticisms while maintaining a strong public image is less well known. Harris has managed to balance competing expectations from progressives and moderates, which speaks to her adaptability and resilience. Conclusion: a complex legacy. Kamala Harris's journey is one of persistence, breaking barriers, and navigating complex challenges. Her background as the daughter of immigrants, her early exposure to activism, and her career as a prosecutor have all shaped her into a multifaceted leader. While much is celebrated about her achievements, especially as the first female vice president, there are layers to her story: personal struggles, early failures, and moments of resilience that remain relatively unknown to the public. Harris continues to evolve as a leader, and her legacy is still being written, with many wondering what lies ahead for her in America. Kamala Harris, the